Hey, on another note, that's a little bit related actually, because it's about, greenies and things like that. The shocking story out of Berlin where 45,000 households in Berlin have been left without power after a far left extremist group carried out an arson attack on high voltage cables near the Lichterfeld power station southwest of the capital. James Bolt, this is obscene to me. It is freezing cold winter in Berlin. Tens of thousands of people have been left without power by, let's call it what it is, a terrorist attack, and yet it's getting no attention around the world. James Bolt, had a right-wing group done something like this, we'd never hear the end of it.
Yeah, I think the group that the group that committed that attack put out a statement in which they said, well, we're aiming it towards the wealthy suburbs, and they apologized nicely to less wealthy people that would get caught up in it, but they said that it was a price they needed to pay to target the wealthy. What an absolute clear example of how the radical left view individual people. We are not individuals. We are not worthy of respect. We are all pawns in a class game, and some people are going to have to be hurt if the justice is to be served. But I'll tell you this. If you are a radical and you are thinking of making it very, very hard for people to turn on their homes, do not do it as a free citizen. Become a politician and get paid for it.
Absolutely right. Mia, it is appalling, though, that we haven't heard much about this, in the rest of the world, because it does seem to me that this is where the bias of the media comes in because, on a certain level, we've seen it the way they cover climate protests. We've seen the way they adored Greta Thunberg. They kind of agree with this.
Well, that's right. You can just see how they hold Greta Thunberg up on this pedestal despite all the chaos she's caused. And I think you're right in saying that if this was a right group who caused trouble like this, it would be all over the media. It'd be front page even here of our ABC. But I do think this was some of the most dysfunctional political activism I have seen in a very, very long time. As James said, they came out and said basically that it wasn't their intention to hurt any of the lower class. They were going for the ruling class. And it just shows how these groups have no idea how the world actually works. When you dismantle the energy system, when you have an energy system that doesn't work, the people that hurt the hardest and first is the working class. It's not the rich. And we've seen that here in Australia with our energy system that's quickly crumbling before our eyes. It is working class families who are having to make the decision between heating and eating. It is our farming communities who are having their properties and their businesses destroyed, all in the name of the renewables rollout. Those are the ones who are hurting first. And it's political groups like this who are elitist and they're completely out of touch.
Well, and the thing is, anybody who is not dirt poor, they hate. And it's actually kind of refreshing to have them be honest about it. Hey, James, just let me ask you about this real quick here. Labour has again fallen short of its housing targets with a new analysis saying Australia's going to miss targets by more than 50,000 homes, deepening the affordability crisis. Again, this just strikes me that why does this government keep insisting on pumping the country full of more and more people, most of them without the skills that we supposedly need in the face of a housing crisis and a social cohesion crisis?
I think that's one, that is an important part of it. But I swear this headline comes out every single month, maybe every 6 months, that whatever target Labor has set for itself, it hasn't built on housing. The reality is, it is far too hard to build new houses in Australia and to build apartment blocks in cities. And until the regulation is wound back and until it's easy to build, we are just going to be stuck in a loop where prospective home buyers like myself are just priced out of the market indefinitely.
Yeah, I know, James, but, if they're going to keep building all these apartment blocks, I wish they didn't have to be so ugly. James Bolt, Mia Schlick, thank you so much for your time.